Hello, children. This is English for Week 3, Quarter 2 Matatag curriculum. Our topic for today is all about expressing ideas appropriately for one's purpose, context, and audience. For the content standards, the learners demonstrate their expanding vocabulary knowledge and grammatical awareness, comprehension of literacy and informational text, and composing and creating processes and their receptive and productive skills in order to produce age-appropriate and gender-responsive text based on their purpose, context, and target audience. For the performance standards, the learners apply comprehension of literary and informational text and produce narrative and expository text, example enumeration, description, time order, chronology, and procedural based on their purpose, context, and target audience using simple, compound, and complex sentences and age-appropriate and gender-sensitive language. For our learning competency and objectives, first, note important details of a story. Second, express ideas appropriately. Text is reuse appropriate verbal and non-verbal cues to clarify of context, purpose, and meaning. But before we will start in our lesson, let's have first a review. So let's recall what are the elements of a story. Anyone from the class? Can you remember what are the elements of the story? So the first element is the characters. These are the people, animals, or creatures in the story. Characters can be heroes, the villains, or even sidekicks. Now, can anyone name the main character from this last story we read? Next, we have the setting. The setting is where and when the story happens. So, it could be in a school, in a forest, or even in space. So, what was the setting of the story that we just read? Next, we have the plot. So, the plot is a series of events that happens in the story. It's what the characters do from the beginning to the end. Now, can you remember exciting what happened in the middle of the last story? Next, we have the author's point of view. So, the author's point of view is the perspective from which the story is told. So, it refers who is narrating the story and what are the words they use. This could be first person, second person, or third person. We also have the theme. So the theme is the main idea or the lesson of the story. It is what the story is trying to teach us. Some of the common themes are about friendship, bravery, kindness. Next, we have the genre. So the genre is the type of story. It tells us what kind of story. Here are some of the easy genre. First, fiction, non-fiction, fantasy, and adventure. So today we will read a short story, but before that, let's go first unlocking of difficulties. These words are found in our story. So first we have a character. So this is symbol used for writing or printing with a specific meaning. So pronounce. So this is to say a word or name out loud, making each sound correctly. So to picture, this is to imagine. The master, so a person who has become very skilled at doing something. So one example is master chef. So a person that is very skilled in cooking. Next, we have souvenir. So something special that you keep to remind of a special place, person, or experience. But before that, before our main story first, let's first identify this culture. So as you can see on the picture, it is a roasted pig. So can you guess what country is this culture? Where they roast a pig? Very good. This is from the Philippines. So for the Philippines, the artifacts that can be found is we have Filipino, lechon, and Hawaiian. For Japan, we have kanji, sushi, and Naruto. For Spain, we have Spanish, arroz caldo, Maria, and Maria. In the USA, we have English, pancake, Indian. For South Korea, we have Korean, kimchi, and lee. Are the artifacts that can be found in the culture of those countries. So today we're going to talk about something very important, culture. Before we begin, we'd like to hear from you. What do you think the word culture means? Anybody from the class? What comes to your mind when you hear this word? Great! Good job, you're right. So, culture is what makes each country or group of people unique. So, each culture is special in its own way, and learning about different cultures help us understand and respect others. Now, is it important to respect other cultures? Those are great answers. Respecting other cultures means being kind and open minded when we see or learn about things that are different from which we are used to. So, people in different cultures might speak in a different language, eat different food, and celebrate different holidays, and that's okay. Now, how are we going to show respect for other cultures? We can show respect by first, listen and learn. So, for example, when someone tells you about their culture, listen carefully and ask questions if you want to learn more. It's a great way to understand their traditions and belief. Second, be open minded. Sometimes we might see things that are different from what we know. Instead of making fun of it, we can be open minded and learn new things. So now here is the story time. So there's a story link posted in the video. So ask your teacher to open the link. Now, while listening to this story, these are your guide questions. So, what do you think this story is about based on the title, author, and cover image? Letter B, where and when do you think the story takes place? So, this is the setting. Why? Letter C, who might be the main character of the story? And you are going to describe them. Letter D, what the challenges or problems do you think the main character will face? Letter E, what is the theme or life lessons do you expect about the story? Letter F, how do you think the story will end? Great job, kids! Thank you for listening to this story. Now, let's test if you really listen well. So, let's have for evaluation. Let's answer this one. And then one whole sheet of paper, you're just going to choose the letter of the correct answer. So, let's go. We also have here task 2. This is true or false. Write T for true and F for false.